A very warm and a pleasant welcome to one and all present here. Today we are going to deal with module number 6, which is musical references in Puranas. Generally, we all know that we have 18 Puranas and 18 Upapuranas. These Puranas are generally attributed to sage Vyasa. We believe that he has compiled all these Puranas in order to get a better society, in order to frame a good human community. Now, these Puranas consist of many things. It talks about gods, deities, heroes, the dharma, what is right and what is wrong. It talks about cosmic energy. It talks about creation, preservation, destruction, and it talks about spirituality. It talks about how to live. It talks about how not to live. And all these things are explained in the form of storytelling. So, all these things are explained in the form of storytelling. So, the storytelling method is a good old method from ages in our system of living. Today, in this module, we will be dealing with Puranas, how different Puranas talk about music, and the interlink between Puranas and musical narratives in their respective Puranas, as we call them as. So let us see some of the Puranas and what they are here to talk about: music, musical instruments, and different musical narratives. So Puranas are believed to have been compiled by sage Vyasa, as I've told you before, and comprised of Mahapuranas and Upapuranas. The major Puranas are Vayu Purana, Matsya Purana, Markandeya Purana, Vishnu Dharmottara Purana, Linga Purana, and Brihadharma Purana, etc. Here are some references from Puranas about music, musical narratives, and musical instruments, and how music was a core part of these Puranas even during those ages. Now, we'll be dealing with Markandeya Purana. The main discussion on music begins with an allegoried dialogue between the serpent king, Ashvatara, and Kambala on one side, the goddess of learning, Devi Saraswati, on the other side. The names of King Ashvatara and Kambala occur in other books also. For example, Alpanishada Gandhare, Raga Bhavavadapi, Swara Sadharana Prayogo Ayamiti, Tesham Kambalashvata Radinam. From this, it is clear that Ashvatara and Kambala wrote some authoritative books on music. They had enough knowledge on music. They were dealing with the music in Markandeya Purana, as we can know from these verses. The Markandeya Purana says that the serpent king, Ashvatara, was very fond of music. His intense longing for knowledge in the art and science of music made him take a vow of severe penance for getting a boon from the goddess of learning, none other than the Saraswati herself. The goddess then bestowed and desired boon upon Ashvatara and Kambala, stating, Sapta Swara Grama Ragaha, Sapta Pannaga Sattamaha, Gita Kanika Saptaiva, Tavati Swapi Murdhanaha, Tanas Chaikona Panchashat, Tatha Gramatrayi Cha Yat, Etat Sarvam Abhavan Geetam, Kambalascha Tatha Naga. This means, O king of the serpents, both you and your brother Kambala will be able to master the 7 notes, the Saptaswaras as we call them, 7 Gramaragas, 49 Tanas, and 3 Gramas. These were the components of music according to Markandeya Purana and according to the way Devi Saraswati has bestowed Kambala and his brother. Here we find another reference from Markandeya Purana which states, Nyasyase yatprasadena bhujagendra param tatha chaturvidham padam triprakarakam layatrayam yatitrayam tathatodhyam mayadattam chaturvidham asyantargata mayattam swaravan janasammatam. Further, Goddess Saraswati, while bestowing the boon, also adds that I bestow upon you the boons of getting efficiency in the 4 padas, 3 talas, 3 yatis, and 4 todyas. So she tries to describe all these things that were mentioned in Markandeya Purana as we see here. Further, Tadasesham Mayadattam Bhavatah Kambalaya cha तथा नान्यस्य भूलोके पतते चापि पन्नग प्रणेतारौ भवान्तौ च सर्वस्य अस्य भविष्यतः पाताले देवलोके च भूलोके चैव पन्नगौ. She, out of joy and happiness, while bestowing the boon to both of the brothers, she tries to say, by my benediction and grace, both of you will be able to acquire these arts, their vowels and consonants. I am pleased to bestow all these boons upon you and your brother Kambala. In all the other worlds, the heaven, the human world, and every other world, everywhere you will be honored, and there is none other than you both who can excel in these components of music, is all Saraswati bestows in this Purana. In Markandeya Purana, we find some musical terminologies such as Laukika notes, Shadja, Rishabha, Gandhara, Madhyama, Panchama, Daivata, Nishada. Grama ragas, Shadava, Madhyama grama, Shadja grama, Sadharita, Kaishika, Madhyama, Kaishika. Geetis, Shuddha, भिन्न और भिन्न का, गौड़ी और गौड़ी का राग, साधारणी, भाषा और विभाषिका. In Markandeya Purana, the Purana admits about 49 tanas. Tanascha ekona panchashat. These are the verses which define that Markandeya Purana talks about 49 tanas. Markandeya Purana says about 3 ancient scales of gramas, which are called as Shadja, Madhyama and Gandhara. Regarding the type of composition the Purana speaks, Chaturvidham Padam. It means the padas are of 4 in number. Now, let us talk about rhythm and what Markandeya Purana has to say about rhythm. Markandeya Purana refers to rhythm as talam, and there are 4 kinds of rhythms, and they are avapa, nishkrama, vishepa, praveshaka. These are the 4 types of rhythms that are mentioned in Markandeya Purana. There are mentioned about 3 kinds of tempo, and they are slow, vilambita, medium, madhya, quick, druta. The Markandeya Purana admits 3 kinds of tempos. They are Layatrayam, Prastaraha, Yatihi, Atodyam. Then 3 types of Yatis are further divided. 4 types of Atodyam are also further mentioned. For example, there are 3 types of Yatis and 4 types of Atodyam that are mentioned in Markandeya Purana. Let us see what are the 3 types of Yatis mentioned here. Samayatihi, Shroto Vahayatihi, Gopuchayatihi. Further, Atodyam is also mentioned of 4 types. The first one is Tatavadyam, Avanadhavadyam, Ghanavadyam, Sushiravadyam. These are the 4 kinds of Atotadyam. Now here we will be talking about each and every Vadya. Tatavadya included all stringed instruments. Avanadhavadya includes those which are struck like drums, percussion instruments. Struck instruments were used in Anavadhavadya. Sushiravadya includes all hollow, wind-blown instruments. Ghanavadya includes all solid, cymbal-like resonators here. Also, now let us deal with Vayu Purana and what it has to talk about musical references and narratives. Vayu Purana deals with music as Gandharva. Swaras are referred to as Swara Mandalam, as Swara Saptaka, the 7-note cycle. Sapta Swaras Trayo Gramaha, Murchanas Tveka Vimshatihi, Talascha Ekona Panchashat, Ityetad Varamandalam. So it talks about Saptaswaras, 3 gramas, and 21 murchanas, and it also talks about 49 talas. In this manner, Vayu Purana describes different components of music in it. See, as we just spoke about Swara Saptaka, let's know what these Swara Saptakas are. Swara Saptakas have 3 gramas, 21 murchanas, 29 tanas, 30 Gita Alankaras, 14 Alankaras, 4 Varnas, 7 Swaras in it. In the same manner, names and divisions of 3 gramas are mentioned in detail in the 86th chapter of Vayu Purana, which says, Vimshatir Madhya Gramaha, Shadjagramas Chaturdasha, Tatha Panchadashe Chanti, Gandhara Grama Samstithan. So, this is the verse that is taken from 86th chapter of Vayu Purana, which talks about Madhya Grama, which is 20, Gandhara Grama, which is 15, Shadja Grama, which is 14 in number. In this Vayu Purana, there is a mention of 49 tanas in the following manner. Tanas are totally 49 in number, Gandhara tanas are 15, Madhyama tanas are 20, Shadja tanas are 14. In this manner, we find 49 tanas in Vayu Purana. Brahma Vaivarta Purana. Brahma Vaivarta Purana has something to talk about music and its references. It mentions about Gopika, Krishna and Rasalila, clapping of both hands to the beautiful rhythms of Mridangam and 100-string Veena. Raga classification was done as Raga Ragini system described in this Purana gave way for the development of North Indian style of music. In today's age, we call it as Hindustani music, whereas South Indians follow more of classical music in nature. Now, in this Purana, music is mentioned as Upasana Margaha and as art has reached higher levels through this Purana. 22 Shrutis, Sapta Swaras, Ragas and Raginis are mentioned in this Purana. The principal raga names are Kannada, Vasanta, Mallara, Vibhashaka, Gandhara, Deepaka. These are different popular principal ragas that are mentioned here. Janya ragas, Desi ragas were also mentioned here. Now let us come to Vishnu Dharmottara Purana. Generally, this Purana has lot of mantras, lot of stotras in nature. So let's see what this Purana has to talk about, musical narratives generally. Now, Vishnu Dharmottara Purana stresses the importance of music and dance. Here, the chapters 18 and 19 deal with music and dance. We can see the mentions of swaras, vrittis. Further, we can also see a mention of gramas. Swaras are sapta, vrittis are 3 in number, which is Vadi, Samavadi, Anuvadi. Once again, gramas, ragas of each of the 3 gramas are also mentioned in this. Vishnu Dharmottara Purana also says 9 rasas and swaras of each rasa, the 3 layas and the laya of each rasa is also mentioned. For example, 3 layas and the layas of each rasa, 10 jatis, and there is alankaras. There is a mention of alankaras. In the first type of alankara is prasannadi alankara, prasannanta alankara, prasannadyanta alankara, prasanna madhya alankara. These are found in Vishnu Dharmottara Purana for reference. Several kinds of songs are also mentioned in this Purana. Let us see few examples. Aparantaka, Makari, Ulopyaka, Ovaneka, Mandraka, Sarobindu, Ruggatha. There is also a mention of 49 tanas with their names. The importance of Pranava, Omkara, Nada, and Sangita for the pursuit of spiritual progress were narrated as a story in Vishnu Dharmottara Purana in the following manner. let us see the story in a very concise form. Now here, there lived a king who requested his sage, stating, "Who is royal minister and teacher? Teach him the art of icon making so as to enable him to worship the Almighty." So the king is in need of someone who understands the art of icon making so that some god's form can be made and it can be worshipped generally. As you can see, further, the sage advised him to learn painting, sculpting, dancing, instrumental music, and lastly, the vocal music according to the sequence. Why is this told? At the end, the royal priest says that the imagery one develops while learning music is the ultimatum. There are the true icons that transcend the time and space. For this story, it is evident that music is indispensable and forms the foundation of all arts. Once again, let's see what we have to know from Linga Purana here. The first 3 chapters of Linga Purana deals with music and its sub-concepts in it. Out of all the 2 major elements which are very essential for music, such as Sushvarata and Vidhignana, were discussed in detail. Suswarata. Su always refers to something good in Sanskrit. Swarata is that melody. The melody, the source of melody, process in which it can be attained is detailedly discussed in this Suswarata. The second one is about Vidhignana, the knowledge of articulation, rendering of notes and the proper rendition of swaras. These are dealt in Vidhignana in the Linga Purana. Now, it was also said that sage Narada learned music from the famous owl named Jnanabindhu. Therefore, Swaraprasthara, that is variations of different permutations and combinations of swaras and different modes of singing, was dealt in this Purana with great care. So, friends, we all have got some kind of basic introduction that Puranas do have musical references in it. Not only musical references, it talks in detail about different musical concepts, the elements in music, its sub-concepts and further divisions. These are all mentioned in different Puranas, as we can see. We also have seen the different subdivisions of different elements in music. And here, music has always been given a status of great spiritual significance. To attain a spiritual bliss, to attain the liberation, music has always given a pathway in the form of Upasana Marga. So here, Puranas have very clearly mentioned that music is just not an art form, something of aesthetic sense, but it has given a status of spiritual bliss. The divinity is found in music very well from the Puranas mentioned in this module. Thank you. Namaste.